This is Sonic, and you're watching JD Frank 20.
What's this? Knuckles is barely in his own Paramount Plus show? Despite having top billing, the Echidna plays second fiddle to his own miniseries? Let's discuss about this. Yeah, so according to Kotaku right here, they explain basically that in the Knuckles series, Knuckles really doesn't show up in his own series. I had a lot of expectations for the Knuckles live action miniseries. It turns out, might have been a little bit too lofty, but I don't think the expectations that the Echidna, voiced by Elba, would be in a show with his name at the top was outrageous. I'm sad to report that Knuckles is only around for a fraction of the show named after him. We won't get into many major details or spoilers here, but after watching all the Knuckles series, I was dumbfounded to realize the punch-throwing Echidna is barely in it. The show's not about him. He spends large sections of the show remarkably absent from even pivotal scenes. And even when he's around, he's seldom and focused on what's going on. The show is actually all about Wade Whipple, the comic relief cop you'll remember from the live-action Sonic the Hedgehog movies. And he was held captive in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The first few episodes do a decent enough job of dividing time between Knuckles trying to find some purpose in the world and Wade's bowling tournament plot. But there's a scene at the beginning of the episode, in episode 4, which Wade gets dragged away by his own subplot, and Knuckles says to another character he will let the cop save himself as part of his training. Then it clicks to Knuckles will be a vibing off scene. For an entire episode, he shows up again in the final scene, but he bookends the episode. This imbalance between Knuckles and Wade's screen time has become so stark by the later half of the season that I scrummed back through all 6 episodes to break it down by minute to minute and seconds, and just how much Knuckles is actually in the show. And folks, Elba is providing voice work for roughly 76 minutes and 47 seconds of a 172 minute long season. Those are just scenes with Knuckles in it, not accounting for the whether or not he was actually contributed to the scene in a meaningful way. That's less than half of a 6 episode runtime. They basically just admitted that Knuckles is barely in his own show. Now I understand, the excuse is going to be, oh, CGI is very expensive. That would eat up a huge chunk of the budget. So of course, Wade has to get a lot of the screen time. I understand that, but at the end of the day, the show is called Knuckles, not Knuckles and Wade. And this was my big concern right now. I made a take about this about Jeff Fowler saying, I want more emphasis on the Sonic the Hedgehog characters. And I understand the story is basically Knuckles and Wade going, to Reno. I get that. But at the end of the day, I expected both of them to share the screen time 50-50 here. But according to Kotaku, what we've just learned here is that Knuckles is only getting less than 50% of the screen time in a 6-part series. So you're putting more emphasis on the humans, not just Wade, but also the other mercenaries who are after Knuckles. And they just mentioned that Knuckles barely even appears in the pivotal moments. So basically, this is all nothing but smoke and mirrors. Everything you've been seeing in all the trailers leading up to this, it's all smoke and mirrors. They're just showing Knuckles being a badass and just being there for the badass moments. But in reality, everything else is just nothing but shovelware. It's basically nothing but, Wade this, Wade that. Knuckles barely gets any screen time. And that screen time he does get, it's cool. But at the end of the day, there's going to be some moments where it's going to be just like a bunch of nothingness, basically. This I can honestly see people shitting all over episode 4, like Kotaku mentioned. This is basically going to be the equivalent of Sonic Prime Season 3, where people were bitching and complaining that the fight scenes were dragging on, especially for 2 episodes. I could see episode 4 being the same regard, where a lot of fans are going to shit all over it, and they're going to realize, yeah, Kotaku was correct on this. So again, everybody let me know what y'all think about this, and I gotta go. Peace out.